Good afternoon, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me or rejoining me. So this morning I was just not able to come online at the normal time. Um, just giving myself a little time to feel better. So I'm popping on a little late today, but I have some fun little card ideas that I want to share with you that feature the Trusty Tools Bundle and the Toolbox, Trusty Toolbox Designer Series paper. So I thought I would just share a couple masculine card ideas. I know that sometimes masculine card ideas are not that easy to create, but this bundle and this designer paper make it really super simple. So I'm going to share these two cards. I'll walk you through these two cards, and then I have four other cards that I'll share with you that are kind of similar to these two cards. I have some fun folds and some other things. So we will get started right away. So thanks for rejoining me, guys. So these are the cards that we are going to put together, and I'm using a variety of different images from the Trusty Toolbox Designer Series paper. So this particular paper pack is one of the many different items that you can choose for free during Sale-A-Bration. So Sale-A-Bration runs until the end of this month. So be sure, if you like this paper, be sure to get it before the end of the month, or before it sells out. So we are going to be using a lot of the tools from this paper, but this particular paper also coordinates, of course, with the Trusty Tools Bundle. So there are a variety of dies in here, and I'm going to just set these aside. There's a bunch of different dies in here that will cut out different tools from that designer paper. So that's what I did with some of the tools for the cards today. I cut those out with the dies. Some of the tools I did cut out by hand. Um, Not all of the tools are able to be cut out of that paper. So I'm going to just show you some simple designs, some fun ways that you can use this paper to create just some masculine style cards. I do have a Father's Day theme going on, but you can easily change this to say happy birthday or something like that. So, all right. So hello, everyone. So this is the one we'll start with. And the first thing I'm going to do is just show you, this is actually one of the tools that you cannot cut out using the die from the designer paper. So let me show you the designer paper. I have it kind of all cut up. These are, there's actually two different designs. So there's one that has like this grid paper on the back, and then there's one that has this Lost Lagoon color on the back. So the tools are a little bit different on each of the papers. But some of these dies, like I said, you can lay the dies on this paper. And let's see if I can find some that fit. I think this is one. So like you can cut out this paintbrush with one of the dies. Some of these others, I think you have to cut out by hand. And then there's this little hammer on this one that you can cut out with the dies. There's a little wrench, this one that you can cut out with the dies. So lots of different tools that you can use the dies for. I just happened to, choose one for the first card that I'm going to show you. I chose one that I actually had to cut out. So, but it's pretty easy to cut out. So I just like to cut out around the image. Even if I'm like stamping images, this one obviously happens to be on some pattern paper, but I just like to cut out so I can leave a little bit of white space around the image, because then it doesn't look as obvious that I didn't cut this out perfectly. So that's why I don't typically cut directly on the lines of an image. I leave a little bit of space in between because I'm not perfect, and I definitely don't cut perfectly like a die would. So this is just a great way to use these images in your card making. And it's an easy way to cut it out then. You don't have to be perfect with it. So that's the hammer. And that's the one we're going to use to create this card. So I'm going to move this out of the way for the moment. And I am using today some copper clay. So this is copper clay cardstock. Just using that for the base of my card. I'll bring this back. It's getting a little bright here. Let's see. I'll try to dim this a little bit. There we go. So I'm using copper clay for the base of the card, and I'm also using some of the crushed curry. Those are the colors that are in the designer paper. So I started out with that for the card base, just your standard card base. And then I cut a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of early espresso. So this is what we are going to adhere the different pieces of designer paper. So I cut 3 different pieces, and you can use this layout really with any designer paper and create kind of any little focal point. It's kind of a fun little design. And I cut each of these pieces at 5 1/8. So I only left about 1/8 of an inch in between the top and bottom of each of these pieces. So there's just 3 pieces. They're about 3 1/4 inches wide. And I say about because I tried to keep the design in line, I guess. So some of them, so it might be just a little bit shorter than 3 1/4 inches. But I really just wanted, just a little bit of the ruler here. I wanted to keep these dots kind of center. Um, so that's why I say it's a little bit less than 3 1/4 inches. So basically, you're just going to be adhering these right next to each other down this early espresso paper, the cardstock. And like I said, you can use this layout with any supplies that you have on hand. So even if you don't have this paper, this will work with anything. And then we're just going to adhere this to our card front, and this will be kind of the backdrop for the card. And then we can go ahead and create this little focal point here. So what I did for that is one of the dies in the Trusty Tools Bundle creates this a fun little shape that you can use for your greeting. So I decided to stamp this very large dad across there first. So I'm going to be using that crushed curry ink, and we will ink this up. I should probably bring it closer so I can see what I'm doing. And then we'll stamp this right in the center. And then we will stamp over the top of it. I thought it was kind of a fun way to just use the Happy Father's Day and use the dad image. So we'll just kind of stamp this over the top. This one says Happy Father's Day. If you have a birthday image, you can, say Happy Birthday instead of Happy Father's Day. So I'll put that on there. And I'm just using the early espresso. And then I just basically laid this across kind of how I wanted it. And I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here so I can grab that. I like to kind of lay out my design and kind of stick it together and then add my dimensionals. That way I don't have to try to tuck things underneath. It's already positioned right where I want it. So we will add some dimensionals there. Whoop. And let's add a little dimensional up here. And then I think I'll use a smaller one on the bottom. Hello, everyone. Yes, I did wake up with a little bit of a headache, so I'm sorry I couldn't come on this morning. But it's all gone now. It's all good. All right, so let's get these little dimensional things all set up here. And then we're just going to add this right on the bottom. And that is what our card looks like. And then I just used some of the little rustic metallic dots. So these little dots work perfect. I like to use them for creating masculine cards. I also like to use them for kind of the rustic or worn look, you know. I think these dots are really fun. So we'll just add those, and that is your card. That's how simple that one is. And you can use any of the images. You don't have to use the hammer. I just decided to use the hammer. And then on the inside, I just used up some designer paper, and I actually used a piece of that early espresso in the background here. So it's the same size as the one I used on the front. And then, so it's 4 by 5 1/4. And then I added my white cardstock, just a 1/4 inch smaller. So that's that one. So that's pretty simple. Hopefully you think so. And then let's do this one. So I wanted to just kind of showcase some of the dies in the set. There is a large die, and let me grab that. That creates kind of this little pegboard in the background. So this is the die, and I just created this little pegboard using this die and a two. Let's see, it was 2.5 by 3 7/8. So that's the size of this particular piece of cardstock. So I'm just using some copper clay. So basically what I did is just cut a 2.5 inch wide piece of copper clay, and then I cut out this design using this die, and then I just trimmed off the bottom. But you can cut just a regular 2.25, by 3 7/8 inch piece. So whatever works best for you. So I have that piece. And then of course I'm going to mat it out on a piece of early espresso cardstock. So I have a 2 3/4 by 4 1/8 inch piece. And at first I kind of thought, how am I going to adhere this? But these holes are small enough that you can just go ahead and add your glue all the way across and then adhere it to your cardstock. So any little bit of glue that peeks through there will dry and you won't be able to see it. So I was like, whew, that's good. Well, let's add a little bit of glue under here. Apparently I didn't get any under there. All right. So that's the little pegboard. You can put it on any cardstock. I just wanted to use the early espresso. And then in the background, so my card base is just a piece of the crushed curry. And then I cut some of the designer paper that looks like a ruler. So this is just 1.5 inches wide, and it's 4 1/4 inches long. So it's the full, length there of the card base. So I just went all the way across. So that's the background there. And then you can just add this piece right over the top. So it's a pretty simple layout. But really what makes this card is when you add all those tools. So some of the tools I did cut out by hand, like this little clamp I cut out by hand. Of course, I got a different one now. So we'll have to rearrange these. But you can cut all these tools out by hand or use the dies, whichever one you want. I'm going to just scoot these over and change this around, I think. Maybe this way. And let's move this up a little bit. Well, we'll just come up with a totally different design here because they're not all fitting. There we go. That'll work. So you can put them on there any way you want. I happened to cut out a clamp. I didn't notice that, but I happened to cut out one that was different. I suppose I could just put it this way. Maybe that'll work. Let's see if I can get this to work. So you're really just going to arrange these on your little pegboard. And like I said, it doesn't really matter how you arrange them. You just want to fit them on there somehow. And there's lots of different tools that you can use for this. So we should be able to do it this way. So I cut them all out already so that you didn't have to watch me cut them all out. And we'll put this one, let's put it on the side. And you just simply pop them up. We'll put like that. And then this one. All right, so that's the basic design. And then I just added a greeting over the bottom. So I cut a 3.5-inch long piece of white cardstock. It's about a 1/2 inch wide. And we're just using the same Father's Day greeting. So I just kind of used the same greetings that were in the bundle. And we'll use a little bit of early espresso ink and add our greeting. And then we're just going to put this over the top of our tools. So I'm going to add some dimensionals to each side here. And let's see, I think we'll go probably right here. So I'm going to add a dimensional right in the middle. And then we'll just add this over the top. And that is that card. Once I figured out the design. All right, and then we're just going to add a couple little rustic dots here. And that is our masculine card. So again, pretty simple design. On the inside, I just added some designer paper, a little bit of the early espresso cardstock, and that is how I created the design for the inside. All right, so then I'm going to show you some other cards. So these are the two that I just walked you through, but I do have a couple other designs that I want to share with you. So let's move these over a little bit so you can see them. So this one is very similar to the pegboard that I used here. I just created another pegboard, just added some designer paper behind the pegboard here, this grid paper, and then the little dots on the side. But then I just added that pegboard in the center, and then a variety of different images that I cut out from the designer paper. So very similar design to this one, except for I have a 2-inch wide piece that's running down the side of this card instead of, the piece on the bottom. And then here's just another design. So this time I just used the designer paper in the background instead of, die cutting a pegboard. But again, it really is just a matter of adding all these different tools on there just to create a fun little look. So those are the first three. And then this one you saw already. And then these last two card ideas are really just some very simple fun fold cards that I did. So there's this one, again, just a little cluster of tools that I added on the front. And then this is the same card layout. I just decorated it in landscape style. And this is what it looks like on the inside. So just a very simple fun fold card. And this is the design I used for the fun fold. So you can either cut off this piece. This is just a 1 1/4 inch piece that I actually folded back onto itself and adhered it to create this card. And then for this card, I simply just cut it off. I didn't use this piece. I just cut it off to create this fun fold card. So either way, you can do that with to create the fun fold design. You can just fold it back onto itself or just cut that piece off so that you have an open area here on the bottom. So either way is fine. But I just wanted to share just a couple different card ideas with you and kind of give you some masculine themed card ideas to play around with. Um, I had a lot of fun with this particular bundle. My whole entire family, all the men in the family, are all into carpentry. So this is like the perfect bundle for my family. Um, so I'll definitely be making these as birthday cards, though not Father's Day cards for everybody, but it is a really fun bundle, and it just creates some really nice masculine cards. So I just wanted to share these with you and remind you about Sale-A-Bration, that this paper that I used is one of the Sale-A-Bration items that you can choose for free with a qualifying order. So this particular paper pack is free with a $50 order during Sale-A-Bration. And Sale-A-Bration ends at the end of February. So you have till the end of February to grab this paper or get it before it's gone, before it sells out. Sometimes it's sells out before the end of the month. So be sure to get that. And then if you are looking for more masculine card ideas, you can definitely check out our event. I'm holding an event with two of my team members next Saturday. So it's an online event, and I'm doing a variety of different masculine themed cards for that event as well. So if you are available, then definitely join us. If you're not available, you can still join us. All the live stream videos will be recorded, so you can watch them at any time. Plus, we will have tutorials for each of the 6 different sessions. So even if you can't join us live, you can still join us at some point and watch the videos and get all of the fun card ideas. So I did link to that in the description with this video, so you can go check that out. You have until I think right before the event next Saturday to register. So I hope to see you guys there. Sorry I came on a little late today, but I'm glad that a lot of you were able to join me. And I will get all these card ideas and details up on my blog later today. So thank you guys for joining me. Hope you have a wonderful Sunday and a great rest of your week. And I will see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.